This is Carl Perkins backstage at the Seattle Opera House in Seattle, Washington. I've known Carl for quite a while. He's one of the finest talents I've ever known. He sings, he picks, he writes songs. I heard that once, Carl, that you went in the studio to record a song that had never been written, and you recorded this thing, or rather you wrote the song while you were recording it. Was that true, or somebody putting me on?
No, you heard it right, Bob. That was the backside of Blue Suede Shoes, a thing called Honey Don't, that later Ringo Starr of the Beatles had a big record of this thing. I actually wrote it in the Sun studio.
Well, that really is something else, to get up before a microphone to record a song that's never been written.
Well, that's the way it happened, and it was in 1955, and about November of 1955.
How'd you get started in this business, Carl?
Well, I guess, Bob, kind of like a lot of the guys I've talked to, I practically worried everybody to death. I was just about run off from home by the old man with my guitar in my early days. I sent tapes to all the major recording companies, and finally the little Sun record company down in Memphis, who had started at that time a boy by the name of Elvis Presley.
Mm-hmm.
And Elvis had just recorded his first record, so I had two brothers working with me, and the boy that's playing drums with Johnny Cash now, W.S. Holler. We four went down there, and I talked him into listening to us, and he liked one of our songs, which was one side of my first record, a thing called Movie Mag. And he told me to go home and write me another one, and he would put out a record. So you can imagine how long it took to be back.
And then you had one big one, Blue Suede Shoes, a big hit all across the country. And it was number one, wasn't it?
Yeah, Bob, it was. And incidentally, I don't want to sound like I'm bragging about this, but you may not know it. A lot of people I talked to had forgotten, but this song, Blue Suede Shoes, was the first record to ever be number one in all three categories of music: pop, country, and rhythm and blues. And this happened in 1956. It was released January the 1st, and along about March the 15th, somewhere in that vicinity, it became the first song to ever go in all three charts to the number one position.
What happened after Blue Suede Shoes, Carl?
Well, Bob, I guess the saddest, most disappointing thing of my life at that time, needless to say, being a struggling, hard-working country boy, as me and my brothers were, we were real keyed up to play the big places we dreamed of and go on the big shows, you know. And on March the 22nd in 1956, I was to be on the Perry Como show, the 24th, which at that time, nobody in the rock and roll field had ever been on a national television show, Elvis or any of them. We would have been first, which, you know, it don't hurt to be first in something like this. But we had a real serious car accident 2 days on a Thursday morning before Saturday night for the Como show. And the following week, we were booked for the Ed Sullivan show. And the disappointing, sad part of it was the truck we hit, it killed the man, and I lost a brother. And this was tragedy after success. So for a good while, it just really took the good feeling out of the fame the record had. But now I look at it and I can see there were a lot of happy days there too, you know.
But has there ever been another real big hit since then?
Well, nothing like this one, Bob. had a thing called Matchbox. After that, has been recorded by a good many artists. In fact, I had the real thrill about 3 years ago. I was working in England on a tour with the Beatles, and they invited me to their recording session, and I was sitting there in the studio when they recorded this Matchbox song, and
That's quite a thrill right there.
oh, it really was.
Have you ever been disgusted where you wanted to quit the business completely and just to hell with everything?
Oh, yeah. Yes, definitely. I sure have. With the ups and downs I've had in the business, more than one time I've decided, I thought I had decided to go another route, but I had wrapped up so many years of my life and so much of my time in this that I found out I wouldn't make a good cab driver or nothing else. I'd be singing, so I wound up back in it, and for the past couple of years, I've been blessed with a pretty fair record, and then working with the Johnny Cash show, and things are look better now than they have in a long time for me.
Well, that's very good to hear, Carl, because I do believe you're one of the finest talents in the business and one of the finest persons. And I'd like to thank you for talking with me for all the boys here in Vietnam.
Well, Bob, before I go, what you're doing is truly one of the greatest things. I know I'm right in the huddle out there with the fellas listening when I say that they appreciate it. I have been fortunate enough in the last 3 or 4 years to make the European tours and play for the fellas. I've never been to Vietnam. I hope to someday in the little capacity that I could do is pick and sing for them. But everybody has done a great job, and regardless to what the few may protest and say back here, these boys are out there fighting for something that we all know is right and what we love, and we all dearly appreciate everything everybody's doing back here.
Amen to that, and thank you very much, Carl Perkins.